You can.
Hi, it's Tales from the Shed all over again. Welcome.
2.
Yeah. And what is it you're talking about this time?
We're looking at why we started looking at menopause. I mean, it's opened lots of different routes for us, but we started at menopause because we feel there's so much negativity around menopause. You know, I've asked a group of women what they feel about menopause, and they go, old crone, dried up, the one you don't want to talk to in the office, and just people generally being old and horrible. And then the physical symptoms, you know, there's hot flashes, hot sweats, not sleeping, as well as a sort of, oh, I'm getting older now and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I met Anne because she was my homeopath and saw me through the menopause. The only thing that I knew about the menopause, because, I mean, my mother didn't even tell me about periods, so the menopause was never ever going to be part of the conversation. So the only thing I knew, only thing I knew that was going to be really bad. I know my sister had a really bad menopause. She ended up taking HRT for quite a while, and it still made her moody. But anyway, there you go.
It doesn't.
I think it's just our family. But you know, there was that kind of thing. So I knew it was going to be bad. So when it kind of started, or I suppose I didn't even really realise that it had. I mean, I had, you know, flooding and all of that kind of stuff. But I remember having a conversation with Anne, and the main thing that I had was night sweats, was really hot. And so she gave me belladonna, and as long as I remembered to take that before I went to sleep, I would wake up in the morning with that amazing feeling of, oh my God, I've had
a really good
7 or 8 nights out hours of sleep. Whoa, what happened? Oh, that is. So it was great. So that was where we kind of started all that long time ago.
It was.
And then I kind of discovered it, and then I also had that thought of, my God, I've done amazing. I've stopped bleeding every month. I've got all of this energy. I can do other things.
And I think that's the news that I want to get out to people, is menopause is a change. There's no question about that. But you shouldn't suffer, and it should actually be the best change in your life. It should be the bit where you go from having hormones, having monthly cycles, into freedom and opening up. And it really, it's a massive change. It's a huge change. And I think people are quite scared of that change. And I think they need more guidance. We need to talk about it more. And even though we're talking about it more, which I think is a good thing, it's still suppressing it. Let's talk about it so we can suppress it. Let's talk about it so it's not a problem. Let's talk about it to get it away, rather than, you know what, it's a massive change. And it's a beautiful change. But we need to talk about it in order to embrace all the facets that is.
Yeah, because there are some things that aren't that pleasant, you know, and that we go through. But it is about, we're moving from one kind of state to another state. So that transition, it's where the body is all sorting it out. What the hell is it going to be? How is it going to be after this? So we're moving through. It's like, you know, it's not an immediate, 1 minute you're kind of having periods, the next minute you're through it and sorted.
Or 1 minute you're young and healthy, and the next minute you're old and you're suddenly vulnerable and at risk.
Decrepit.
And there's many things that change, and I think this is part of the work that we do, is to explain the enormity of this. So there are physical changes, but they should never be horrendous. You should never suffer. So you might get a little bit warm, but you should never have really hot flashes. That's one side to it. So managing your symptoms so that you change is great. But the other part is the creativity, which is what we work on a lot. That you are coming into a new phase of your life, and without realising it, I think we've both done it. I mean, we're both mothers, so we both have had children.
We've done all that YouTube stuff, thank you very much. Yeah.
But you have your children, and you go through this state of being responsible, looking after. And things change at menopause, regardless of where your family is. Things change because of your hormone changes, the estrogen changes, your make-happy hormone. And you come into your own place much more like you were originally when you were young, everything you really wanted to be. So we do a lot of work around this. And I think that's probably what we want to start with, you know, the following videos, like giving a bit more information about what we do and where we are at.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is that what we found when we sat down thinking we'd like to work together, and we made a list of all the different kind of things that we did, and I think after we kind of got to the bottom of the first page, we were thinking there's far too much information here, and then we've kind of had to try and trim it and put it together in kind of packages that make sense. But I think that what we found was there's this whole variety of things that once you've actually almost dealt with the top layer, then there are many other layers that you can kind of deal with. So once you've kind of, you know, once you're thinking, okay, so what are the physical symptoms that I'm really unhappy with, that I'd like to manage better, or I'd like to see how I can move through that. Maybe there are some kind of emotional things that are going on as well, so how could I deal with that? And then once you've kind of looked at all of those, it's almost like you're getting to the point where you're thinking, who am I? Who was I? Who was I when I was 4 or 5? And what was it I wanted to be? Did I want to be an astronaut? You know, for me, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a drummer. You know, and it's almost like saying those things. Oh right, I can remember those kind of things I wanted to do. I can do those now because I'm not spending my time looking after, although I think if you talk to my children they'd be disputing
well, I think
whether I looked after them or not. But anyway, you know, but it's almost like those kind of things, those are not the things at my top of mind. But what is kind of good, and I think what we are very bad at, is actually making it okay for us to do something that is just for us.
And that's,
you know, and that's the change that you're moving from. You're moving from that looking after estrogen period to a period back where I'm going to look after me, and what is that going to look like?
Perhaps we should talk about that more in another tale.
Next time, yeah. So
next time or the time after, we'll see.
Yeah.
You just have to keep checking in.
That's right. We're not sure what we're going to talk about next time. So thank you for spending time with us.